Hello and welcome back to what is now part 4 of this little SLK series, and we're nearly there. Today is cleaning day and we're going to be getting the seats out, we're going to be vacuuming and shampooing the carpets, valeting the whole interior, valeting the whole outside, and hopefully getting it booked in for its MOT test. If you haven't seen parts 1 to 3, go back and have a look. They're a great watch, honestly. And it will show you all the work we've done so far. There's one more part I'd like to fit to the engine which hasn't arrived yet. If it arrives during this video, I'll put it on and you can see why I'm wanting to replace this particular part. It's the cam adjuster. But the rest of the car, the rest of the engine bay is looking fine. We've done some rust treatment, we've had the wheels off, we've checked the noise that we had at the back brake, everything's okay now, fingers crossed. The exhaust centre sections is looking a bit crusty, but it doesn't have any holes in it, so hopefully we'll get through its MOT. Subframes, I've treated them with a few bits of surface rust on them, control arms etc, and the four corners have got surface rust. We've done a bit of rust treatment using Rust-Oleum, and we're now ready to give the exterior a good wash and the interior a good valet as well. So come with me and I'll show you. Oh, before I forget, if you're liking this channel and you're liking the Mercedes, the Corvette, the Mustang, the Dodge Charger, Mercedes SLs, anything like that, go and hit up my Patreon site. I've got a Patreon site set up and I've got some behind the scenes stuff. Or if you just want to chat cars, you can join it for free, or you can pay the couple of bucks a month that it costs to join Patreon in full. If you just can't afford that, or you just don't want to pay that at all, do me a favour and just hit like and hit subscribe on this video and I'll be just as happy with that. Alright, come on, let's go and have a look at this car. Alright, so I have the driver's seat out. We're going to give this a nice clean. I've got some leather paint coming to restore this bolster here. And it's not too bad down here. There's a guy I watch Curious Cars on the web, and he says if there's a nuclear blast, the only things that will survive are cockroaches and the MB Tech stuff they use in Mercedes seats. And he's not wrong, you know, because these don't have any cracks in them at all on a 24-year-old car. So we're going to get this all touched up and cleaned and restored back to new. Likewise, that paint is going to do this door card, because that's pretty badly scratched up, just people with rings in their fingers and whatnot. And we're going to get all this cleaned up, and the leather paint, the anthracite paint will come in handy for that. Then we'll get the seat out and we're going to give this a whole vacuum, get the Bissell spot cleaner out. Ooh, I thought I was missing one of those. That'll do nice. That's off the trim panel that I've still to replace. We'll get it all vacuumed. I don't know if that's dog biscuits. It certainly looks like dog biscuits. And we're going to get all this repainted and refinished, all this centre console here. But basically we're going to give this thing a very good vacuum and clean, and we're going to get the Bissell spot cleaner out and give it a good carpet shampoo. Okay, so let's press on with that then. Ugh. Just dog biscuits, gads, but still. everything clean from the inside, and this is the result. Check it out, eh? Lovely coffee. 2 sugar and milk, please. Ugh. Good things, these little Bissell things, if you haven't got one. Really, really handy. And really good at getting the carpets back to brand new. Alright, so you might have noticed during that little montage there after cleaning that we've got these rather distressing bits here. Hold on, I'll get you a light here that I can show you better. These hopeless lights that last 20 seconds. Right, we've got these rather distressing marks here all over the door card, wee bit there on the key bit, and in the centre console. But we have the solution. Of course we do. See how some of that's wet paint there? That's because we have found, through Scratch Doctor, the anthracite coloured paint that matches the leather. So what I'm doing is just getting a little dabber sponge and dabbing on the bits that we can touch up here. So I'll let you watch me doing that, eh? Alrighty, so just dab some of this on. And it might look a bit darker, but it'll probably dry, probably, pretty much the same colour as the original. There we are. So there we go, we'll let that dry, we'll come back and see what it looks like later. We'll crack on with the rest of it, which is here. There we are, that's going on really nicely. And just do it thinly. I'm just doing this very thinly in terms of the thickness of the paint that I'm putting on. And I'll come back to it later, and if I need to do more, I'll do more. That's just it. But you know, it's this stuff is blending in perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. I know there's other expensive stuff you can buy on eBay and whatnot that says it's the genuine stuff Mercedes use, but this was a tenner from Scratch Doctor, and I'm telling you, if you could see it in person, you can't tell, apart from the fact that it's wet. the colour is exactly the same. Exactly the same. So, you know, why bother spending more when you can buy it from a UK seller for a third of the price? So, let's let that dry off, and what we'll do is we'll come back later and inspect it when it's dry, and if I need to dab in some more, we'll dab in some more. That's it. Just took the passenger door to do, and that's it. So we'll also do the same on this bolster here, which I've just cleaned, as you've seen. We'll stick on some paint onto that and see how we get on. Right, let's see how the colour matches this. Oh, absolutely superb. I've used Scratch Doctor quite a few times. Various cars, red leather dye for the BMW, I've used it for the Mustangs. You know, used it for various cars over the years with a leather colourant and whatnot. And leather cleaner. They're absolutely brilliant. They check your chassis number as well, so if you're not sure about the colour, you can contact them and they'll give them your chassis number and they'll be able to tell you what the colour code is for the interior and exterior. But, you know, look at this, for a tenner, you're sorting this out, you know. Absolutely superb. And you kind of get carried away with this. You kind of go and look for things that are a problem just so you can go and fix them. Let's see how we get on here. A bit more needed around here. But, you know, this is a great little job to do. It makes such a big difference in the cars. Huge difference. People's eyes are drawn to these kind of faults, you know, and fair play. That's what you look at. You look for faults when you're looking to buy a car, don't you? So these little things make a massive difference. Well, to me they do anyway. I don't know about you, but to me they do. So it's worth spending the time and just correcting these little flaws. There we are, look at that. It's not even dry yet and it looks perfect, doesn't it? We'll get a good shot when everything's dry. Right, I'll let all that dry off and I'll come back and show you the end result once it's finished, once it's dry. Well, I do apologise for the voiceover because it appears my microphone battery died on me and didn't tell me. So it is still me, it's not some AI generated garbage. And I've got the engine bay back on shot here because we got a little part delivered during the video and it is our little camshaft adjuster magnet. So if you've watched the earlier parts, you might have heard that. I'm showing it there, look at my hand, look, I'm describing the fault very clearly there. How good's that? When we accelerated up to about 2000 RPM, it went like that. Made a kind of rattly, rumbly noise, horrible noise at the top of the rev range. And I think it's this part here that's causing the problem. This is basically a magnet inside here. It's a big ring that goes around that hole there. And there's a piston on the engine that gets pulled in and out depending if that's switched on or off. And that adjusts the cam timing within the engine. So when you're accelerating like that, if that's not working properly, you're going to get a little rumbly noise. It might not run as well as it should. So this cost about 45 quid. And we're going to install this just now. And fingers crossed, look at that, fingers crossed, excellent. Fingers crossed that solves our little problem. Cool. Alright, so we're just going to take this old cam magnet off. I think it's just 3 8mm Torx bolts from memory. I did actually tell you when I was doing this what the sizes were, but they are pretty small. And don't worry, my microphone comes back in a couple of seconds here. So, let's just get this one removed. You don't need to remove the coolant pipe to take this out. You just need to take off the vacuum hose for the brake booster and just move the kind of cabling out of the way and take off the cable that plugs in directly to the sensor and move the wiring loom above it just out of the way a wee bit, and that should be you. Full access, no problem. Let's get this last one out and we'll see how this is fitted. Come on, you wee guy. There we are. And there we go. Pop it up. Alright, so when I've removed this part, something didn't look quite right. So this one has come off here, and as you can see, I don't know if you can tell, see that little screw there? It's a little bit damaged, as is that one, and this part is kind of flopping around. This is the magnet bit, the black bit. It's kind of flopping around in there, whereas the new part is a completely sealed unit with that plate sealed on to hold that magnet inside it. Now I've just measured this hole here. It just so happens to be exactly the measurement of the inner part there, the inner piston. This unit is obviously failed. It's been split from its cover and it's been RTV'd back on to the car. Hence probably why we're getting a little bit of noisy when we're accelerating a wee bit. So I need to un-RTV this whole unit here off the car, and this plate that you see with the kind of yellow rubber seal should have been attached to this and look like that. So that's why we've got a problem, and that's why. Right, let's get on with this then, and we'll see what it'll look like when we get this part off. Alright, well, we've got it off after about 10 minutes of struggling away with it there, and I'll show you why. Oh dear. This is the bit to kind of get off that should have been part of the original unit, and I had to get some vice grips on it. As you can see, it's been RTV'd to the 9s here, and it's been stuck on to the thing, which I might have to put some RTV back on it, but this backing plate shouldn't have came away from the front plate. Wait, I'll turn the camera around so you can get a better view. Right, so that's our new one. That's what it should look like. That's the backing plate, and that's the old one. So, you know, this was sitting on here, like, how was it sitting? Opposite way around, sorry, sitting like this way. Right, so it's been RTV'd, and essentially this bit's come away from that bit, and it should look like that as a sealed unit with these rivets in place to stop it going. I think these might have been drilled out, I don't know what's happened. They've broken off anyway. Maybe they've not been drilled out, that's maybe unfair, maybe just snapped off. But anyway, the good news is this part will fit, and I'm just going to put it back on now without RTV to test it, and then if RTV gets delivered to me today, I'll just flip it back off and stick some on, and we should be good to go. But I need to give it a good clean up in here, because it is, you can see there, that's the piston, and it's got RTV on the piston that's been put on too close to this bit here. So I need to clean all of this up first of all, and then reseal it with a new unit. Okay, let's crack on with that then. Right, so what I'm trying to do now is just pick out all this gunk. I don't know if you can pick this up on the little GoPro here, but there's a lot of gunk in here that I'm having to scrape away, and on this piston here. This piston's the bit that comes in and out, look. See that? And I think there's a lot of rubbish here that shouldn't be here, but down here I've just picked out a whole load of gunk of RTV from this area here, and it shouldn't be there, not at all. It's all over here, gads. So I'm going to try and clean this up a bit more, and then we'll see if the new unit mates up with it properly. Alright, so it's not 100%, but it's all the black RTV's pretty much off it, so it's as good as it's going to get, I think, and I've got it all off the piston as well. So let's try and put on the new part and see if it fits. So you can pretty much only go on one way, these. Oh yes, there we are, and that goes perfectly in there. That's it. See, there's actually a ring on this. See it? Kind of indentation. That's where to put RTV, not any closer. And you don't need a lot. You just need to spread it around that very thin line, and on it goes. But like I say, I might just fit this just now and just make sure it doesn't throw up any error codes, and then we'll go and put some RTV on it, because I have ran out. I'm looking all over the place for it. I had 2 tubes of the stuff just kicking about. Now I don't know what I've done with it. Oh well. MDC any? I need to tidy up, don't I? Place is a bit of a tip. I need to do one of those days or half a day that I just tidy up the garage and make sure everything's where it should be, because I had plenty of RTV. Oh, wait a minute. I had plenty of RTVs sitting around. Nah, you go and buy some. Oh well, we'll screw this one back on and just make sure it works. Yeah, this is back on almost. I'm not quite sure why this little plastic bit is separate, but you just kind of knock it in there. Shouldn't have put that pipe back on actually, I'll just take that back off. Oh, hold on, other hand. Come on. Oh, goodness me. Right, so this little bit here just plugs into that hole. It's a wee plastic cap, so I don't know why it's separate. There must be a reason for it though. There always is. And I'll just have to push that in with a socket, I think, so let's just try that. Yeah, I'll just get a wee socket and give it a wee helping hand. Should have clicked in by now. And socket in. There we go. Don't know if you heard that click there. That's us seated in there. Press it in with a wee socket. Right, let's get the button back up and we'll give it a start. Alright. Almost time for a little finishing touches. I don't have a Mercedes air freshener thing, but we got these little Hot Wheels ones when we're in B&M or something like that, so that'll do nicely for now. Ever driven a convertible with the top down one of these? Just goes flaps a bit, but anyway, that's what we've got. Looking pretty good, but there is something slightly worrying me here. I'll just show you. I've been tidying up because it was driving me crazy, and I've been cleaning glass and stuff. I did come across this, and I can't remember where it's from. It's got to be that coolant pipe, I'm sure, but I need to double check all the things now because that's going to bug me. But look at this little guy. He's coming on. He's ready for his outside detail. So he is. He's ready to go outside and be washed properly. Get the wheel arches all cleaned up, get the pressure washer out, get the snow foam, get everything done on him. I'm going to get a new badge ordered for here. I'm going to get a new badge for the steering wheel. I've just put all the alloys back on, and oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, when I turned this car around the other day there, I drove it out the driveway just down to the end of my cul-de-sac, turned it and came back, which is like a private road, and I realised I had left the locking wheel nut on this wheel, and when the car came back in here, of course it was missing. So I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to phone Mercedes, I'm going to have to go and get one. But I retraced my steps all down the cul-de-sac twice, couldn't find it. Went out a third time just because I was so annoyed, and there it was, sitting on the ground in all its glory just before I turned into the house. Don't know why I never saw it the first time, but panic over. So I've torqued all the wheels down. This is what it's going to be like when it goes for MOT. I do still think we might have a little issue with this back brake here, maybe not. The noise is definitely gone from when we repaired it in part 1. I think it was part 1 or part 2, can't remember. Noise is definitely gone, but I heard a tiny wee bit as I was going down a corner, but I think that might have just been me, I don't know. But it's looking good. The noise is pretty much 100% away, and I think once I give it a good clean around and use the brakes, use them a bit more, everything will just bed in again, because well, what do you know, the old Amazon next day delivery pulled through. There's some black RTVs. Just going on a small bead along this kind of indentation here. There's a kind of marking there you can see, and that's if you run it not close to the middle. That's when things start to go wrong. So a wee small bead, that'll do us. Yeah, that'll do it. There we are, and we'll just slot this back in. There we go, that way. And that RTV should seat nicely there. I'll just grab one of the little screwsy booties. There we go. And then we go. Torque down to 15 Dave meters of force. Basically tight. Don't know what the torque settings is for that, but I'm pretty sure I got 100% accurate there. There we are. Oh, excuse me. Woo! Oh yes. Satisfying clicky noises. That's in. And then I've got a little replacement cable tie here. Oh, it doesn't match the Mercedes black though, unfortunately. Wonder if that will kill the resale value of the car. So I'm going to leave the little cover off just now, just to make sure we don't have any new leaks anywhere. I'm pretty sure we won't though. And I noticed this little sensor was a wee bit funny, so. Okay, so looks as if we're okay in here now. I think that is the last job that I need to do in the engine bay. For now anyway, in terms of mechanicals anyway. So cosmetics, I've still got some of this to fix up, some of the wee rust spots. Our headlights are looking a lot better than they were. Much better. This is the replacement grille that wasn't chipped. And we've charged the battery up full, made sure it's got a decent amount of voltage in it. And we've replaced the coolant that we lost. So, excellent, we're looking good in here. So, all that's left now, I think, is a few cosmetics. And we've booked this in for its MOT on Thursday of, let me see, Thursday, it'll be the Thursday of something of March. Can't remember the dates. But anyway, by the time this video comes out, hopefully we shall have the result. And if it fails, it fails. I'm not fussed. At least we know exactly what we need to fix to get it through the next MOT. So if you are restoring a car, don't be afraid to take it for MOT even before you do everything, and get a failures list, because that means you know exactly what you need to do. With this one, I kind of knew in advance, well, after the first look at it, what it was needing. And I do suspect it will get some advisories perhaps on the brakes. Maybe not, we'll see. But they work and they're solid. So let's get it a bit cleaned up on the outside, and then we'll get it to its MOT. Oh yes! I haven't shown you the results of this paint when it's drying, have you? Look at that. Look at that, eh? Could you even tell that wasn't anything other than brand new? And then look at the bolstering. Eh? Remember that wiggle that was on it? And then the pièce de résistance. Look at that. Look at that centre console. Does that just not look completely brand new or what? Hey? Not a scrape in sight. And here as well. Not a scrape in sight. Interior is looking absolutely mint. Really looking great. Very pleased with that. £10 off scratch talk, and it matches perfectly. Excellent. Alright, so giving it a quick once over with the pressure washer. Looking not too bad. Headlights are okay. Maybe go over them again actually. In general, they're looking pretty clean. So once we take it for MOT and come back, I'm going to give it the full works. Ceramic coating, all the rest of it. That'll do for now though. we've arrived. We're at the MOT station, so let's see how we get on. Well, we have been to the MOT test centre and we're now back at home, my home base, and I have the results in my hand. I put a poll up on my YouTube page a couple of days ago, just before the MOT, to see who thinks this will pass or fail. And I think about 60 odd percent thought it would pass, about 40 odd percent thought it would fail. And the 40 odd percent, oh ye of little faith, because we passed. Yes! And we passed, and we've got 2 just small advisories, which is no problem, because it's ones that we spoke about before we took the car in for MOT in the first place. So the brake discs have all been given an advisory because they're worn, pitted or scored, but not seriously weakened. And that's because most of them, you know, when you sit a car up for any period of time and don't drive it and keep it outside or in a damp garage or barn or something like that, the brake discs are usually the first things to start rusting up. And because we have hardly driven this car, they'll still be rusted up when I took it to MOT, but they still work. So the more I drive this car, the more it will clear those brake discs up, because the pads have got loads of life left in them and the discs aren't too bad. So the more we drive it, the more it will clear that up, and we'll probably find it'll either not be advisory next time or we'll replace them anyway, so it's no problem. And then another advisory was suspension arms corroded but not seriously weakened, and that's the ones at the rear. Now we saw that when we were getting the rust off, and what I said we'd done at the time, we just sprayed it with Rust-Oleum, and we could spray it, sand it all right back and wax the oil the whole thing, but to be honest, it's not worth it. It's just the suspension arms, it's not the subframe. It's bits that you could replace if you wanted to, but at the moment those ones are absolutely fine, and you could drive for the next year, even longer with them, no problem. We could treat it underneath if we wanted to, but for those 2 advisories, I am more than happy with that. One thing we hadn't done at the time of the MOT was new wiper blades, which we'll do just now, because these came the day after we took it for MOT. So we'll stick these on just now, new little Bosch Flexi ones, the little hook fit ones. Prize them up, no problem. So that's us, we're done with the MOT, we're back on the road, which is immensely good. Right, let's put these wipers on. Right, when you're doing wiper blades, don't pay anyone to fit these. They're absolute doddle. Especially these ones, he says, you know, which basically are just hook fittings. These are some of the easiest ones to take on and off. Right, the hook just slides on over these clips here. And the Bosch ones are really good because they come with a little kind of thing that allows you to flick it up. Right, so they come with this fitting here, these Bosch ones. You put the hook through there, curl it round there, and click it in. That's all there is to it. Ta-da! Alright, so that's us. We are back on the road, 12 months MOT. Advisories are no problem, those are easy peasy ones if we wanted to deal with them, but the car has been deemed safe to go back on the road. I drove it about half an hour there, half an hour back, and I've realised it's just not a keeper for me. I'm just too big for it. I can't get comfy in it. The steering wheel and it's hitting off my knees as I'm turning, no matter what position I put it in. And I just feel too, you know, crunched up in it. And I kind of felt that way in the Corvette a little bit, but it had a little bit more legroom than this, I would say. The seats in the Corvette went back a little bit further. And I just feel this is just too neat for me, you know. The SL that we had was better, but this will be a good car for someone maybe isn't as tall as me, maybe isn't as heavy as me, I don't know. But it is a solid car. It's a great car to drive. The supercharger kicked in, you could hear it whining when we had the roof down, and it drives perfectly. No bumps, no knocks, no rattles, no bangs, no nothing. It just drives perfectly. And now it's been MOT'd, that gives me the confidence to know the work we've done puts it back on the road and it's safe to move on. So a couple of more jobs I want to do. I've got new badges coming, and I'm going to do some touch-ups on the little rust spots that we mentioned back in part 1. So the new owner's got that to start with. A nice new badge here, a new badge for the steering wheel, and we'll do some of the touch-ups underneath the bonnet as well on the kind of cross member. We'll do that in the next video, but we will be putting this up for sale. If anyone's interested in watching this on YouTube, give me a message, put a comment on, send me an email. We can have a chat about it. I'm not sure where I'll sell it yet, but you've got a 12-month MOT car with really low mileage for the year, you know, 62,000 miles, no problem. And we'll be doing a driving video in the next one. I'll take some nice shots. I'll go down to a nice location where it's sunny. We'll show you all around the car when it's completely done. And that'll be it. Ready to move on. Perfect timing for the summertime for top-down driving. And I've even thrown in a nice new air freshener as well. So, hit the like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit up my Patreon site if you want to see what cars potentially coming next. And we'll do one more video on this just to say cheerio. And then we'll be moving on to the next. So, thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.